Hi, boys and girls. I have a great story for our diversity collection. This story is about a boy who just sees the world differently, and that's what makes him beautiful. It's titled Noah Chases the Wind, and it's written by Michelle Worthington and illustrated by Joseph Cowman. And I hope you enjoy this story as much as I do. Noah chases the wind. Noah knew he was different. He could see things that others couldn't, like the patterns in the dust that floated down on sunbeams. He could smell the green tang of the ants in the grass. He could feel when a big storm was coming before the leaves on the trees even started to tremble. Noah liked to find out how things worked, where they came from, and where they went. When he couldn't understand, it hurt his head and his heart. His room was overflowing with books of every shape and size on every subject he could imagine. Noah loved books more than he loved toys. His favorite books were about science, especially the weather. They taught him why rain clouds looked so angry, why the air buzzed before lightning struck, and why his skin turned darker in the summer sun. Oh, and I love that he's built himself a blanket fort for reading in. I think that looks nice and snuggly. And the picture clue tells us right away what he's passionate about. He's passionate about learning about the weather. I wonder what you're passionate about. Is there a subject you can't learn enough about because you like it so much? Yet search as he might, none of his books could tell him what he really wanted to know. Noah knew where the wind came from, but where did the wind go? His mother was usually more helpful than his books, but she didn't know either. "Why don't you try finding the answer for yourself?" she said. Noah sat quietly with his back to the trunk of his biggest tree and waited for the wind to come. Oh, how I love this illustration, how the artist has divided these pages with the beautiful tree there. Looks like it's fall. I love the colors of those leaves. Before the leaves on the trees even started to tremble, Noah felt a stirring deep inside. He stood, his face to the sky, and felt the whooshing wind build and blow his hair into his eyes. Noah took a deep breath. He was ready to chase the wind. He followed the wind as it whistled down his street, blustering around buses and bicycles and whipping wrappers from the gutter. Isn't that an awesome illustration? You can almost follow that wind pattern as it flows around the bus. It's blowing that hat almost off the man's head. Just gorgeous. I love that. He chased the wind as it glided over fountains, under bridges, and between people on the sidewalk. He raced the wind as it picked up speed, building with the breeze from the beach and the heat from the highway, growing into a gale that lifted Noah off his feet. Each stream of air became a different color, and Noah was lifted high above the clouds. He floated on a blue, billowing breeze as the winds whirled and twirled around him in a never-ending ribbon of rainbow. The wind never stopped moving for a second, until eventually, slowly, the blue breeze sank to the ground, and Noah could feel the familiar grass underneath his feet. With a brush of Noah's cheek for goodbye, the wind was gone. Noah sat still until the sun sank below the tops of the trees and his mother called him in for dinner. "Where have you been?" she asked. Noah gave her one of his most loving smiles and said, "I know where the wind goes." Here's a note from the author, and I love that it reminds us how our beautiful differences make this world a more beautiful place. The author says, Noah sees the world in a unique and special way. He's sensitive and perceptive, and he asks questions many people, both children and adults, never consider. When he can't find the answers to his questions, it hurts his head and his heart. Children who see the world differently, whose perceptions are unique, sometimes struggle. It's the job of the grown-ups who care for and teach children to help them feel good about themselves for who they are. All children can learn to understand that being different is okay. In Noah Chases the Wind, my hope, that's the author speaking, is that children who experience the world in a unique way, including children with sensory processing challenges and children on the autism spectrum, will recognize a part of themselves in Noah. I love this story. I love Noah's beautiful mind and how that makes him beautifully different, and it makes our world a more beautiful place. I hope you love this book. It's going to be part of our diversity playlist. Until I see you next time, bye-bye.